I'll start with you, Finn. I mean, I love Don't Tell Us So. It's one of those films where just for 90 minutes you're just completely gripped because you just don't know which way it's going to go and what's going to kind of happen. I just wondered if you recall when you first read the script, if you had a kind of similar experience to what I had as an audience member, that kind of like going on that kind of adventure for the first time.
Yeah, I remember when I read the script for the first time, I called my agent straight away, and I was like, I really want to kind of try and get this as a priority, because the words just jumped off the page for me, and it all felt really heavily stylized, and the characters, the way they were written, and like the way Matt was written and everything, it all felt very almost animalistic. I don't know if that makes any sense, but sort of the way he is in the script and in the film, and the way all the characters are, it was very enticing to read. I don't know, I couldn't put it down once I picked it up, and I'm quite a bad reader, so it often takes me like a few goes at something, but when I picked up the script for Don't Tell a Soul, I just read it cover to cover. So I was really gripped when I read it for the first time.
Yeah, because Jack, I mean, there's a kind of shorthand between brothers, and I fully believe that you two were siblings, and that can be kind of sometimes harder. And obviously, when you get like films which are kind of romantic dramas, and you have to believe in the chemistry. There's actually a chemistry between siblings which is vital as well. And I fully believed in you two being sort of brothers. I just wondered about how you went about establishing that. Did you guys spend much time together before the shoot, or did you guys have to be kind of cast together? What was the kind of before you guys did you guys meet basically in other words?
Yeah, I met him at the hotel, and it was a pretty much a basic meet that we had. But I remember when I was talking to Alex, because we met at like a coffee shop or something in LA, and he's like, I'm looking at Fionn Whitehead from Dunkirk for the movie. And I was like, oh my goodness, wonderful. And then I met him, and he was wonderful. And
he's lying.
No, I'm not. I'm not lying. I swear to God, he was wonderful for a second, and then he turned into like a total prick. Yeah. But in the beginning, he was wonderful. That's
what I do. I lull people into a false sense of security by being nice at first.
He's like a mythical monster.
Yeah, because Jack, I was going to ask as well. I mean, obviously, with Rainn, so to a lot of audiences around the world, he's known a lot for his kind of work on The Office. Obviously, he is incredibly funny as Dwight. I was just wondering about, because obviously in this instance, he's playing a darker character. Is he a funny guy? Kind of, was he funny in between takes, or was he kind of respecting the kind of nature of the character and the kind of tone of the movie? And was he kind of being quite serious in the moment?
It's hard to say. He's like an enigma. He's really weird, like so weird. He's like almost like Gary Busey weird. No, maybe not that weird, but trying to like paint a really weird picture of Rainn Wilson. He's really funny. He's really funny, but also he can also be very serious and professional. He's so professional. And he's also just like really human. He doesn't have a big full head, but he's like, oh, I was Dwight Schrute. No, he's very humble, very modest, very kind.
I found him quite self-deprecating.
What?
I was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just said I found him quite self-deprecating.
Did you?
Yeah, like when someone's sort of like taking the piss out of themselves, which was actually quite refreshing. I think it's like a typically British trait to put yourself down and make jokes at your own expense. So it was quite nice to hear him do that kind of thing.
Yeah, was he actually down in a hole on the ground, or is that just the magic of the movies? And was he just kind of in a studio somewhere, or did they actually lower him into this kind of well for those scenes?
He was in. There was two different holes. So most of when they were filming him in a hole, it was actually a structure that they built so that they could get easy access to it with the camera and stuff. But it was fully sealed. Like once they shut it, and when you were inside it, it was pretty kind of spooky. If you were claustrophobic, it was your idea, your worst nightmare. But then they had another hole which they dug, which was just for the stunts and for the exterior shots. which was not as deep as the structure.
And that's because I was wondering too. I mean, there's because I mean these I love both the characters, but I mean particularly Matt. I mean, he's a bit of a dick. But I was just wondering. So ignoring the fact that he might not be relatable in those terms, were you still able to relate or draw on kind of like real life experiences just as a sibling, just in terms of like understanding the relationship between the kind of two brothers? Were you still able to kind of draw on much from your real life, even if the character was quite far removed from who you are?
Yeah, we were just talking about this actually. So I have a brother, and we grew up fighting loads. We're really close in age. It's like a year and a half between us. I think it just happens. You grow up together, and you when siblings just fight. I don't know. I've got no explanation for it. But I was definitely more of a Joey in that scenario, because my brother was older than me, and he was a lot bigger than me as well when we were kids. And so I would push it too far, and then I'd see something switch in his eyes, and then I'd know that I was in for it. And so I'd sort of poss him. I just kind of like pretend, like wait for it to be over, basically. So I kind of drew on that, and obviously just kind of having a brother and knowing what that relationship is like. It's such a strong connection and strong bond, and it is also can be so rocky especially when you're kids and teenagers. So,
do you have any siblings, Jack?
I have a year-old brother.
Oh yeah, so that'd be weird if you had fights.
Yeah, I threw him in a hole too, and it was like really funny. Just doing my part as a big brother.
Nice.
No, he's great. He's a baby, so he's fine. He like blows bubbles and stuff.
You didn't have, because we filmed this like 2 years ago. You didn't have a brother when
Yeah, I was an only child my like whole life.
So that means that you learned how to be a big brother from that film.
I learned how to actually know. I learned how to be a little brother the entire time, on and off set. Because offset, I honestly felt like Finn was sort of like a brotherly figure to me. Like he did things that brothers do, other than the fighting thing, violence thing. But like,
thanks for putting that bit in.
He's like, but it was really like subtle stuff. It wasn't. He was a friend, but more of a brother. It felt like, because like I remember there was for example, he would do I don't know. Okay, one time we were outside and I was practicing skateboarding, doing my skateboard, and he came out for a smoke or something, and he like looked at me and I did a trick, and he was like, that was good, and like I don't know, and just like walked in, like, and he didn't even say. It was just like really subtle, but he felt like a brother.
Terrified. Every time you got on that skateboard, I was terrified, like a brother, more like a mum, really.
Yeah,
I was sort of like, I would see him doing these really amazing tricks. He'd be doing like nollie flips and stuff, and I would just picture him falling and breaking his wrist, and then us like stopping filming. Yeah. And because it was we shot it on not a massive budget. It was the kind of thing where I was like, so I was saying you were good just so you'd stop. You know?
Yeah. No, not for his safety. You just wanted to make sure the shoot didn't end. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Jack is really good, though. It has to be said. He is a very good skateboarder.
No, really? Yeah, no. Yeah, because I was reading something about earlier. You're doing lots of skating stuff. Is that like a second passion, would you say, after acting for you then, Jack?
Yeah, I have lots of second passions. But it's just like a thing that's fun, and I like doing it with my friends or in my garage. It's just like the only sport I play. It's the only like athletic, physical thing I do. So I have to commit to that, because I don't know how to do anything else with my body.
I was going to ask Finn, because obviously, I mean, you've got some really exciting projects coming up that I was looking at the things you've got in the pipeline. They look so good. And I'm just wondering about, you sort of go back, and obviously, like even Jack said when he sort of heard, Finn from Dunkirk, how grateful are you as an opening entry into this kind of industry to have the lead role in a Chris Nolan film? I mean, and talk about kind of setting the kind of path for yourself. I mean, obviously, there's still loads of hard work that still has to happen, but that must have been such a great thing to start off the career.
Definitely, yeah, you said it all. It was amazing. yeah, still can't quite believe that it happened. Really, it was such a crazy, lucky thing that I managed to book that job. Because I'd my first job, which was a ITV series called Him. I was finishing filming that when I got Dunkirk. So for that to be my second job, I mean, it shouldn't happen really. It's just unbelievable luck, and I'm so grateful to Chris and to Emma and everyone who took a punt on me. So yeah.
Yeah, because Jack, another one, film I sort of loved that I saw you in was Shazam. I just loved Shazam. I actually saw it. I ended up seeing it 3 times because I. Long story, but I really enjoyed it, and I just wondered. Obviously, they've got like a sequel. You must have been thrilled when you got that call to say, right, we're going ahead with another one. Because I guess when you're an actor, you might have this experience, you love it, but then whether you get to play that character again or enter that world again and see those people again, it's kind of out of your hands. So you must have been so happy when you got that call to say it was going ahead.
Absolutely. I remember when I went to the premiere. This happens usually to a lot of things. When I go to the premiere and I see the movie for the first time, this happened with it. This happened with Beautiful Boy. But when I went to the theater, when I went to Shazam, the premiere, I saw, and the movie ended. I was like, I want to play Freddy again, and that was like a guaranteed. Oh, you will, because like, it's one of those kind of movies. It's like you can make a million of them, and it'd still be good because there's like infinite plot lines, because Shazam's legacy dates back to like the 40s, 30s, so there's really an endless amount of things you could do. But I'm so excited. And there's like a Black Adam something happening right now. I'm allowed to say that. That's public. Which is also like a part of the lineage. And I know that it's called Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and it's set to come out in 2023. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, because we're talking about playing characters again. Obviously, you work at Lucha in We Are Who We Are. Is that something is there already in talks or hope for that could be something you reprise again in the second season?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
But would you want to? I mean, was the question really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I would absolutely want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was like the greatest challenge of my life. I loved it.
And because I was Finn, I'm sure obviously like loads of people sort of talking about sort of Dunkirk, and obviously you've worked, so people, I'm sure you've been asked many times what it was like to work with Chris Nolan or Harry Styles, and obviously people like Emma Thompson. But who I really want to know, forgetting all of the huge big names, what it was like to work with Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton on Inside Number 9, because they are two, I think, of the most incredible writers, and they are pure geniuses. How was that experience for you working with them?
I think they're pretty big names. I don't know, they're pretty big names in the UK.
Yeah, that's what I meant more.
I think in America as well. I think Inside Number 9's got pretty.
Oh, is it? Oh, good.
Universal. I don't know, but it should do. They're amazing and brilliant. They're just smart, really incredibly smart and hardworking. They write all of the episodes themselves, and act in all of them, and are still able to be hilarious and welcoming and really kind of really put me at ease. That was really great getting to do that. It was like a week shoot, and it was just fun from start to finish.
Yeah. So my final question before I go, so I've gone a bit over time, was to you, Jack. I was just wondering, because obviously this Don't Tell a Soul is quite a great little debut from Alex. What was he like to work with on this project? Because you can already get a sense of his voice in this industry.
Oh, his voice is really unique. Everything about him is unique. I think that's the best way to describe him. He's adorable, actually. Also, like he's submissive is the wrong word. I think it's like, yeah, definitely the wrong word. It's he provides so much leeway, and he put us all on a really long leash to really play our characters, and we just had fun. Like we were just like a bunch of people getting to like play pretend all day, and he gave us so much freedom to do that. So it was such an honor and a fun privilege to work with him and the rest of the crew and cast.
Anyway, thanks so much for your time today, guys, and best of luck with the release and everything. And yeah, hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
Well, take care, guys. Bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey.